Welcome back, Wildcat fans, to another episode of the Inside Out Show presented by Carrburritos. We have a packed episode for you today. We got updates around the program. We opened up our season 2-0.
Yep,
Got to
doing
debrief
well.
those games. Two great wins.
We have our interview with Bobby Durkin, fan favorite. We know you guys are going to love
right.
that.
Bobby Buckets on the pod
Bobby
today
Buckets on
at
the
the
podcast.
end.
Yep,
In between, we
requested.
got all-time Davidson men's basketball starting five.
And then we also have our Swish and Brick segment, as we do every episode.
That's right. But before we get into it, let's have you hear a quick word from our sponsor, Carrburritos. Located just south of campus on Main Street, Carrburritos is a family-owned and operated casual dining Mexican restaurant. Carrburritos offers indoor and outdoor dining options, as well as curbside takeout services. Orders can be placed online at visitcarburritos.com/Davidson.
Let's go to a quick recap of kind of what's been going on the past couple of weeks since our last episode dropped. We obviously played William Peace University.
Home opener
against William Peace, and then we've just got back from Bowling Green.
That's right.
Up in Toledo, Ohio. So you want to talk a bit about how those last games have gone?
Yeah.
How
So
you
opening up the season here at Belk, it was great to get in front of the fans.
Tell me about it, man.
Yeah, it's so much fun having everyone out there cheering for us. It makes such a difference. So much different than the scrimmages that we started with. But that was a good warm-up game for us, I would say. It was a little bit one-sided. I thought we played really well.
We did,
which
indeed.
was great. It's super awesome to see everyone on the floor. We got pretty much everyone on the team out there at one point. Everyone played. Everyone was feeling confident out there. It was really good to see. Us playing through our bigs, guards were knocking down shots. Like it was just, it felt like the perfect way to start the season. Everyone was playing super unselfish. It ended up being a pretty manageable game.
Yeah,
pretty large win.
We
and
got
then
up by
it kinda
about
teed us up for our game on Friday night.
Yeah, I think it kind of rolled over into the game against Bowling Green because we came out against Bowling Green swinging.
Yeah, that was a heck of a way to start.
The offense was
the game.
humming. Ball was moving side to side, hitting shots left and right.
The resilience of this team was just phenomenal,
Yeah,
and being able to pull out the game, when it was that close, I think is a big step for us. Like that gets us better, and that prepares us for games in conference play in March. That's what we're going to need to be good at. So it was great to see making free throws, taking care of the ball for the most part.
For the most part,
working on that
the
a little bit.
the last couple of minutes got a little sketchy there, but we got through it. And I feel like that, compared to last season, where we found ourselves in so many of those situations and we didn't come out on top, it was really refreshing to this early in the season to get into a close game like that and come out on top. I feel like that really shows the growth, everything that we've been working on.
Absolutely.
Over the summer and over the spring.
I know people were mentioning that after the game too.
Yeah,
so I think
very much so.
the program as a whole feels that way.
Yeah.
And obviously, start of the season, that was our first road trip.
Yes.
Maybe take the people through what a typical road trip for us looks like.
Well, road trips usually start the day before. Will come, classes and all of that. We played on the Saturday, or was it a Friday?
Friday.
We played
Friday, so we left Thursday.
Thursday, you get finished with classes, you come. We practice early, get done with practice. Usually it's a lot of scout stuff, running through what Bowling Green, was going to do in the game. And then practice will finish. We get on the bus straight to the airport, jump on the plane, and then we flew to Ohio. And then we're in the hotel. We get some food late night, but then straight to sleep. Get up the next morning, breakfast. We'll head to a shoot around, do the same kind of thing, walk through everything that they're going to run, get used to the hoops a little bit. Playing away games is always tough because you're in an arena you've never been in before. With playing with basketballs, you've probably never touched
really
before in your life. It really is hit or miss sometimes. And there are so many, especially non-conference, so many different teams that have different basketballs. You play with a Nike ball one week, you play with an Adidas ball the next week, you play with a Wilson.
It's crazy. Bowling Green tried to give us 5 basketballs to warm up with. That's what these teams typically do. Is they'll have all the good balls on one side for them, and then the other side, it's all the worst balls, and you get hardly any of them. They're deflated or they're super inflated.
Yes,
they're trying everything to mess with your head.
It's impossible to get a rhythm in those warm ups, but that didn't stop us, did it?
Did not.
Not at all.
Yeah, it was a fun trip, and sprinkled in there is Bobby reviewing elevators, and I actually got to see my family.
How about that?
My parents, brother, grandparents came, so that was really cool to see them.
That's awesome.
And there's not a lot of stuff going on in Ohio. It's pretty flat over there, but I liked getting off the plane and feeling that Midwest air.
Yeah.
It felt like home for me, even though it wasn't quite back in Chicago. So I enjoyed it. It was a good trip.
I bet.
Speaking of traveling, we can get into the Swish or Brick.
We can.
And my Swish, well, I'll start with my Brick, actually.
Okay.
It has to do with team travel, and that would be the Auburn men's basketball team.
Oh.
Who got into a little bit of a scuffle on their plane flight, allegedly, an alleged physical altercation on their plane flight to the game against Houston.
Not good for team morale, that.
The plane had to turn around and fly back to Auburn before they left state airways,
That is nuts.
whatever the boundaries are for Alabama. They turned around, went back, sorted it out, flew out to Houston, and if you don't mind me doing this, I'm going to jump to my Swish too, which is also the Auburn men's basketball team, who went on the road this week and beat Houston, the number 4 team in the country, at Houston, after all of that drama.
My Swish this week actually goes back to our game against Bowling Green. It had been 9 years until the game against Bowling Green where 3 Wildcats had scored.
I saw that.
In 20 points. Connor, you had 24. You had 23. Reed had 24. Bobby Durkin, who we'll have on later today, had 20 points.
That's right.
And just an absolute flurry from our big 3, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah, but it was really a whole team win there. I mean, it took everyone. Roberts, freshman, his first Division I basketball game, at 11 points. I know they interviewed him after the game. He's handling the ball a lot. The ball's in his hands. He took care of it. Yep. He was a menace on defense, so he had a huge game.
A Doberman, you would say.
I mean, really everyone. And it came down to the defensive end and the end of it. But our offense was clicking, and it took all 5 guys, to make that happen. So it's really on everyone. It's a big win for the team, and yeah, it's a good stat. But as long as we keep getting wins, that's the only stat that we care about.
And then my Brick this week, my roommate Sean Logan. Recently got his Instagram hacked.
He did. If you guys follow him on Instagram, he didn't actually.
He did not get a
G-Wagon, car, and he did not get a new house.
No.
The wording was hilarious. Hacked. It was just congratulations to me.
Congratulations to me.
It's a crazy way to open up an Instagram post.
I went home last night, and he was on his computer filing a complaint with the Department of Justice.
Wow.
To try and get his Instagram account back.
What are the chances that complaint sees?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think he's kind of lost most hope on that.
That's too bad. Austin Bunce told him he might be able to help him out there.
Yeah, that's what Austin told him to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not looking good for Sean's Instagram.
Yeah.
So if you see a new Sean Logan Instagram account out there, guys, go give him a follow. Do the kid a solid. But yeah, that's my Brick for the week. So.
I had multiple people asking me if those were NIL deals for Sean.
My mother texted me and said, "Sean Logan got a G-Wagon. Where's your G-Wagon, Hunter?" Sorry, Mum.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Maybe you can get your Instagram account hacked. And
I hope not.
Yeah, neither do I.
Good. Do you want to get into our starting 5 segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
This week we are drafting our all-time Davidson basketball starting 5. And I'm really excited because we've had some really good players come through this program.
This is going to be a tough one. It might cause a little bit of controversy. There is a unbelievable amount of talent that has gone through this program. And when you're doing your research, there's well over, it's going to end up being 10 guys, 5 for each of us, but there's well over 10 guys that are worthy of making this list. And we might be a little bit biased towards the more recent players who, we personally know or we've seen around the program or highlights of, but we're really going to try to make this as evenly distributed as possible and, take history into account here. So we're going to do our best to give our best 5 starting lineups and see whose is better. Now, I think for this one, we're going to start with a coin flip.
We do need to do that because there is quite an obvious first pick that would be had. So I don't know how we're going to flip a coin.
Let's do it on my phone.
Okay,
we can do that online.
Ooh.
All right, heads or tails, Hunter?
I'm going to go tails on this one.
Tails never fails, except hopefully this time we're going to flip it on camera for you guys. It's heads.
Dang it.
Let's go. I will happily take the number 1 pick here. And I'm going to refer to my notes. I really don't need to. And that's going to be Stephen Curry. 2-time SoCon Player of the Year, 2008-2009. Obviously led the team to the Elite 8 run in 2008. All-time leading scorer, 2,635 points on his career.
That is a lot of points,
Tough
guys.
to top. The best shooter of all time, undisputed, NBA champion, NBA MVP, which obviously happened after his basketball career, but, after his basketball career here,
at Davidson,
and that's what we're comparing in this
right,
draft. But it's worth noting. So easy 1-1 pick, Steph Curry.
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna go like point guards, shooting guards, down like that, right?
You could draft in any order you want.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna stick with point guards.
All right.
Bit more recent. I'm gonna go with Jack Gibbs.
All right. The second overall pick.
Currently a member of our coaching staff.
That's right. He's gonna be happy
He's
when
gonna
he
be very
hears that he's
happy.
the second pick. That's gonna feed into his ego.
Hopefully it doesn't inflate his ego too much. But 4th all-time in points, 5th all-time in steals, and 6th all-time in assists. And won the conference championship in 2015. Jack Gibbs, absolute flamethrower.
Yeah,
He
and still does.
Still does.
And still
Plays
does.
on the scout team in practice with us all the time, and it's quite frustrating sometimes when you're because
when we're trying to guard him, where it's a rebounding drill and he just is shooting from 35 feet. And
half of the players in the A10 don't make the shots Jack Gibbs does in practice. So
more than half the players, I would say almost every.
You're
There's
right.
I
No
have
one
not
on the
seen
A10
any
makes the
player in
shots
the
Jack Gibbs
A10
does.
make shots like Jack Gibbs does.
Which is good. It gives us good preparation for the games.
He helps us out a lot.
It's frustrating for sure. So yeah.
All right, well, good pick. I am going to take this back a little bit further, and I am going to go with my second pick, Fred Hetzel.
Okay.
Who I think was the clear second choice here. Sorry, Jack. 5th all-time in points, 3-time SoCon Player of the Year, 93, 94, and 95. He was the number 1 overall pick in the 1965 NBA draft. The number 1 overall pick for the San Francisco Warriors. He's in the Davidson Hall of Fame, inducted in 1990. So Fred Hetzel is my second pick. I know that's taking it back a little bit far. But
it's impressive. I'm going to stay on that, kind of bringing it back.
Uh-huh.
My second pick, I'm going to go Mike Malloy.
Okay. Good
Mike
choice.
Malloy, all-time leading rebounder here with 1,111 rebounds.
Wow.
Lucky number, that one. 2-time SoCon Player of the Year in 69-70, as well as 2 Elite 8 appearances in 1968 and 1969. So Mike Malloy, we've got his photo up on the wall up there. He's in the Davidson Hall of Fame as well, I believe.
That's right, yeah, yep.
And yeah, I'm going to go with Mike Malloy with my second pick.
All right.
I'm putting him at power forward, by the way. I've got a point guard now, and I've got a power forward. So
all right. We're pretty evenly matched here.
Yeah,
For my power forward, which I guess could also, he played a lot of different positions here. For my third pick, I'm going with the 3rd all-time point scorer here, the 3rd all-time rebounder here, Peyton Aldridge.
Oh.
Who was absolutely dominant. He's a good friend of ours. He comes back in the summertime, helps Rick's camp. He's still playing over in Turkey. Mm-hmm. So he's had an awesome professional career overseas. He is the A10 Player of the Year in 2018, part of NCAA tournament teams here at Davidson. So Peyton Aldridge, unbelievable player, can do it all. He's going to be a part of my front court.
Yeah, great pick. I've heard a lot about that guy, and he's a bucket.
Yeah, he's great. He's also a great dude. I love Peyton. Shout out to Peyton.
That's great. Shout out to Peyton. I haven't actually met him, but yeah, shout out to Peyton. My third pick, this is a tough one. There's so many good players on the board.
I'm going through my list. There's
really
too
struggling.
many to choose
I'm
from.
really struggling. Okay. Yeah. Keeping it kind of more recent now, I'm going to draft a 5-man. Davidson's had a lot of good 5-men in their time.
Yep.
But I'm going to go with Luka Brekovic.
Good pick.
2022 Player of the Year in the A10. Was a major part of our team that
went to the
A10 championship and went to the NCAA tournament that year.
They won the conference.
Won the conference and played against Michigan State. At large bid.
Yeah.
One of the best teams in the country. They were an incredible team. Yep. And he was back this summer as well.
Yep.
Absolute monster of a man.
He's
huge.
Of all. Yeah.
Ginormous. Not the biggest in the lower body, but his upper body, he just kind of like tapers out like this. Mm-hmm. And his shoulders, when he gets you on his hip and shoots that hook shot, there's really nothing you can do at all.
He was playing pickup with us this summer and dominating. That's the cool thing. A lot of these guys, the recent guys that are still playing overseas, they come back and they hang out with us in the summer. We play pickup with them. It's very cool. It's very unique to Davidson. It's been awesome. Very much so.
So, yeah, my third pick, I'm going with Luka Brekovic.
All right, good pick. Oof, I don't know who to pick here. And with my fourth pick, I'm between two guys right now. Because
You got to make sure you balance out your team.
I know.
You don't want to have 3-point guards and something like that.
Because I drafted Steph, I think I'm going with this next pick. My fourth pick is going to be Jason Richards. So they obviously have a
dynamic duo.
Great connection together. He's the all-time leading assists maker at Davidson with 663. He's an 1,000-point scorer. Let's see here.
It's like
obviously
passing the ball to Bobby Durkin. No wonder he's got all those assists. He just passes to the ball, shoots it, goes in.
Yeah. I mean, he was a huge part of that 2008 run, obviously. 2 conference championships. Sorry. He's in the Davidson Basketball Hall of Fame and was obviously part of all of Steph's championships here.
Yeah.
He is my fourth pick, and that backcourt duo of mine, I would feel pretty confident in having them together. Steph and
having
Jason,
them run the show, that's
combo.
big time. So I've got to draft a small forward and a shooting guard now, I think.
It's also positionless basketball. You could.
It
really
is positionless basketball.
Anyway.
Okay, on the topic of positionless basketball, then I'm gonna draft Damon Brooks. Do it all forward.
Yep. He also comes back and plays.
He also comes back.
Time.
Currently playing in Japan.
He had been playing in Japan, and I think he switched this past year.
Okay. So we'll get a fact check on that, but 2-time SoCon Player of the Year in 2012 and 2014. Won it co-Player of the Years with Jake Cohen in 2012, who I was gonna draft at the 5, but sorry, Jake, I didn't.
They were teammates. They had a couple back and forth years of Player of the Years. I think they may have both won it in 2012.
They dominated it.
And then Jake won in 2013 and Damon won in 2014. I mean, that's a crazy run.
Incredible. 3 conference championships in 2012, 2013, and 2014. Dominant run from them two. I'm going to take Damon Brooks with my fourth pick at the 3.
For my last pick, I'm going to have to take it back not quite as far as Fred Hetzel, but I'm going to go to Brandon Williams. He's 11th all-time in scoring. Davidson Basketball Hall of Fame. He spent nearly a decade in the NBA with a handful of teams: the Hawks, the Knicks, the Warriors, the Spurs. He's someone that us new guys, I don't hear a lot of people talking about him on the team these days.
No, honestly,
It's a lot about Steph and after that era into the newer guys, but I think he's someone that people forget about, and I'm very happy. I think I got him as a steal at the 5 spot.
That is a steal. Goodness. Speaking of steals, my last pick, 5th pick, shooting guard, Kellen Grady. Freshman phenom here at Davidson.
That's right.
Perhaps our highest ranked recruit that we've ever received or something along those lines.
Probably close to it.
Something up there. 6 all-time in scoring, 2,002 points, and averaged 17.5 points per game his entire career.
His whole career.
Well,
I think his freshman year was like 18. He was just
incredible.
up there the whole time.
Kellen Grady. He also was back this summer.
Yeah, and last
summer as well.
And having a great professional career overseas as well.
Yeah.
Common theme for all these guys: great professional careers,
still playing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Davidson makes pros, guys. What can we say?
Simple as that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good list. We're gonna have to see what the people think.
This one's gonna be controversial.
It is gonna be a little controversial. I'm excited to hear what the debate is, and we're open to any critiques to our list that you may have. Maybe we missed something in our quick research, but I think I'm pretty happy with how they turned out.
I'm pretty happy with my list too. And you can always hypothesize about how these teams would stack up against each other on the basketball court.
Yeah.
I
really love my backcourt. Steph and Jason together.
That is a tough one. And Jack Gibbs, bless him, but doesn't play a lot of defense. So Steph Curry matching up against him, I'm sure Jack would probably give him a couple of buckets. That would be a high-scoring affair for sure.
Wow. That would be fun to watch. I wish we could get these teams to play when they're all
I'd love that.
in their primes.
It would be great.
That would be something to watch.
Oh, hopefully Jack isn't watching this because he might go at me in practice now after that. But it's besides the point, I think.
You drafted him second. He should be.
Give me a break.
That's pretty high. And now let's jump into our interview with Bobby Durkin. Bobby Buckets joining the podcast today.
Yeah, let's do it. It was a highly anticipated interview.
Sure is.
Bobby Durkin, star sophomore. Let's just jump right in, guys.
And now we welcome the very own Bobby Buckets to the podcast. Bobby, welcome. How are you feeling today?
Feeling good. Thank you guys for having me on. It's an honor to be your 3rd ever guest, so I'm glad to be here.
Of course. You're highly requested. The people wanted to hear from you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm ready to get started.
All right, well, let's do it. And to do that, we're going to take you back to last season, arguably one of your biggest plays, Maryland, which was about a year ago, like to the day almost. So first, take us through that, how that felt to get your freshman season started off with such a bang, and then kind of how you took that and ran with it for the rest of the season and led to some of your success.
Yeah, I mean, going into that Maryland game, I remember myself being nervous because that was the first ever Division I team that we played. So when I got on the court, I think I made my first shot, and that kind of got me into a rhythm. And then towards the end of the game, made a big shot, open three, guy left me wide open.
That.
So
That was a pretty big shot.
Yeah, left me wide open, and then felt good. And I feel like that gave me some confidence going into the rest of the games that season that team was one of the better teams that we would play, and I knew that I could compete with them, so I'd be ready for any other team that we played.
And how does that compare to how you felt against Bowling Green the other night with your first Division I basketball game of your sophomore year?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's just my thing to get off to a hot start. Hopefully I kind of continue that throughout the season.
Yep.
Didn't quite do that last year, so I'll try to keep that going more this year.
What about in the off season? You know, what have you been working on mostly? What are the people going to see that your game's evolved? Any new moves? What's going to be the new thing for Bobby Durkin this year?
I've been trying to do a little bit more off the dribble here.
Okay.
Last year I was pretty strictly a catch and shoot guy or swing the ball. So I'm hoping to be able to create a little bit more for myself and for some others. And I feel like I was working on that a lot last year in the spring and summer. So hopefully people can see that added to my game.
So Bobby Buckets is going to be getting a lot more buckets.
That's the plan.
That is the
plan.
plan.
We'll see how that goes, though.
We were actually wondering what you think about that nickname, because it's kind of floating around everywhere on campus. You know, you see it on Yak Yak. The commentators have jumped on it now, and they're a big fan of it too. So we were wondering what you think about it.
I mean, I like it. I think it's a cool nickname to have. I know Connor mentioned that to start. I think around the locker room, I like to go by Bobby, but I guess that's a cool nickname to have, just in general.
Speaking of nicknames, do you like any of the other guys' nicknames on the team? Do you think there are any notable ones we should mention?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Michael Katzak has the best nickname we got going right now. Details, always meticulous on practice, and Coach Matt loves to point that out. So, Details for Sox is my favorite right now.
Same. I really enjoy that one.
Yeah, we also got Joe Hurlbert, feet set. Does not miss a three when he gets his feet set. That one's been around for a little bit longer. Details is just very recent.
Right. I like feet set a lot. I like big Carrabas for Joe too.
Joe's got a couple good ones.
Yeah. So those two are good. I don't know if anyone else has any good ones.
Yeah. I mean, everything else is very straightforward, right to the point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, congrats on your great nickname. I don't know who to thank for that one, but someone out there came up with Bobby Buckets, and we want to thank them.
Yes. Thank you to whoever that was.
And we're going to switch gears a little bit here, sticking in the sports world, but our Bears. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about there. Can you explain what's been going on, and maybe if you're even still watching them this season?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely still putting myself through that pain. Just disappointment every time I watch them. This past weekend was really sad. Felt like I wasted 3 hours of my life watching the Bears on offense that I'll never get back.
Yeah, see, I thought this was going to be a game that got. I was down in the dumps. I thought this was going to be the game that brought us back. You know, get me excited to finish out the season. Probably weren't going to do anything anyway, but at least I was going to be able to think that we could. And now I just have no hope at all. So
yeah.
I've officially given up on the season.
So have I. I remember I was watching the game with Mike. He's a big Patriots fan. And started the game, I was telling him that I felt like the Bears were going to win and we were going to make a push for the playoffs. That is not at all how that game went.
No.
I couldn't have less hope for the Bears. Everything they got going at that franchise. So
this upcoming weekend, we actually play against the Packers.
Oh,
who Hunter has adopted as his team. He's not a real Packers fan, but that's apparently his team. So even though we don't have a lot to root for, I think this coming weekend is going to be big, just for straight bragging rights in the locker room.
100%. And the one thing I'll add to that
game too,
rivalry game with the Bears. The one thing I'd add to that is if Caleb Williams even plays close to the level that Jordan Love does, I will hold on to that. I'll make sure we remind our good friend Dave Skogman that Caleb Williams is every bit as good. And
shout out to Dave at DePaul. They beat Mercer by, I think, close to 40 last night. So Vic is down in the dump shop.
Yeah, big win for Dave. Big win for Dave. Sorry, Vic.
Bobby, every road trip that we go on, the boys have latched on to the fact now that you like to rank hotel elevators. You want to talk about how that started and how that kind of came to be, and also what your favorite elevator has been. Maybe where your favorite elevator has been.
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. So, started off last year in Asheville. I believe I was with Sean and we entered the elevator, and I don't know why I said this, but I said that I felt like that elevator was a top 3 elevator that I've ever been in. So Sean thought that was hilarious. And then moving on to that, I just kind of did it every single time we went into an elevator. This one we had in Bowling Green was up there. Yeah. I thought it was
fast, smooth,
really fast, smooth.
Nice. Yeah.
I forget what I rated it, but it was definitely one of the highest. That, along with the one we had in Fordham, I think was good.
So what goes into a good elevator ranking then? Obviously, speed is big. Are you talking like how it looks aesthetically, how many people it can hold? Like, what goes into all that? And then how do you rank them? Like, is it on just a 1 through 10 scale? Do you use decimals? Let's dive into this a little bit.
Yeah, so 1 through 10, so I rate it. It's honestly a feel thing. I think size, space, you got speed is big, the way it looks. Those are really the main factors. I don't know much else outside of that, but that's what I use.
You know what I liked about the elevators this weekend? They had the screen that told you what floor it was on.
Yeah.
That sometimes helps me. It makes me think that it's moving faster than it sometimes does, I think.
Right.
Because you kind of see where it's moving to, or if you don't know, you kind of just sit there.
Otherwise, you just feel like you're waiting there forever.
You could hear the engine going, but you don't know where it's going.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I haven't thought about that. Maybe I'll add that
add that to the
one
list.
of my considerations when I rate my next elevator.
There
that's
you go.
Point.
What's our next trip? Atlantis. Atlantis probably has some pretty good elevators.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's definitely going to be top 3, so I'm going to have to move around the rankings.
Have you ever been stuck in an elevator?
No, I don't think I have, but that was one of my biggest fears for a long time. So maybe that's what's prompted me to have such a mind for elevators.
That's fair. I was stuck in an elevator one time in high school. We were on a field trip, and we tried to pack like 17, 18 kids into an elevator. And we were in there for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. And then the fire department came. They had to open the door. We like climbed down. It was like we were halfway between floors. It was honestly, I thought it was kind of fun, but there were some people that were not loving it quite as much.
Yeah, I feel like I would be in that group. I don't think I would like that a lot. It feels like a lot of stress that you might never get out of there. But that's just me.
Okay, speaking of Atlantis, that is coming up, and we have some very tough opponents lined up. So I kind of want to know what your mindset is going into that. You know, we play Arizona first, who is the 9th best team in the country currently, and climbing probably. Mm-hmm. So I just want to know what you're thinking about. You know, we were talking about the game against Maryland, about how you tend to show out against our better opponents. So I'm wondering how you're feeling going into that.
I'm excited to play Arizona. I feel like that's going to be a fun game. They're a really good team, so that's probably one of the best teams we'll play all season. So I feel like that's a great challenge for us, kind of getting to see how we stack up against some of the best teams in the country. So I feel like that's all I can really ask for in a season, especially early, to kind of see where we're at as a team. So I'm really looking forward to it, along with the rest of the games that we play in the Bahamas.
For sure, yeah. I've never played basketball in the ballrooms that they play them in. You know, normally you think you're going to play Arizona, you play them in a massive stadium, but we'll be playing in a ballroom, which would be kind of strange. So I'm excited to see.
That's an interesting point. I actually didn't think about that. That never crossed my mind. I don't. That's going to be different than anything I feel like we've experienced.
Yeah, I've heard it's a shooter's gym. It's smaller.
It
only seats like 1,000 people or something, maybe a little bit more. They have like the blue lights going.
Yeah,
it looks very, very cool on TV. And I've never seen like the inside of it other than through the lens of a TV camera.
Right. Neither have I. I wonder if it's going to be like just a bunch of other random stuff like you would see in a hotel outside of it, or if they really try to do it. Like
That's a good point.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
It's just
So
like, you know, hotels have those groups of ballrooms that are all
Right.
together with like the extravagant lights and everything.
Yeah,
We're
like,
just
is that gonna
warming
be
up
the-
in a hallway.
Yeah. You guys will have to report back on the podcast you do out there.
We'll be doing a podcast there, so maybe the viewers will get a sneak peek into what it's like at Atlantis.
Right.
All right, Bobby, we're going to switch over to a little bit of social media phenomenon, and that would be AJ, Big Justice. Can't forget about the Rizzler.
No.
You are a big aficionado of these three, the big three we'll call them, I guess, and just tell us how that started. You know, obviously your roommate Mike is pretty into it too, and the team's rallied behind that. I just got Mike a double chunk chocolate chip cookie from Costco the other day.
Wow.
So, tell us how you got into that, and then please rate our Carrburritos chips on the boom meter.
Yeah, so one, I'm sure Mike absolutely loved that. I forget how exactly I got into it. I remember Mike and I over the summer, we spent far too much time going through their Instagram and TikTok pages, and I think that's what really did it. I know Ricky got involved, sending me a lot of stuff. I think he's also a big part. So, and just from there, it's just really taken off for us.
Yeah, the locker room loves quoting these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it got bad for a while. It felt like that was the only thing that was on my social media or that I like talked to Mike and Ricky about, which was strange. But they're entertaining guys, and
They sure are.
yeah.
They're really blowing up now. I mean, they're all over the place. They got
place.
into the Knicks game,
Knicks
a
game,
month
yeah.
ago. They're all over all these talk radio
Fallon.
shows. Maybe we'll try to bring them in on here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'd love
AJ,
to.
Big Justice, Rizzler, come on our podcast, please.
That'd be an honor for them to be the next guest on this. So, yeah. Got to take a chip.
Yeah,
I gotta
take a chip. Rate it on the boom meter.
Let's
You
see.
got two options there for salsas.
Oh, what do we got?
I recommend the Verde.
Verde. All right. I'm going to take a guess that that's the green one.
Yeah, good job.
Hold it away from
Yeah, be polite.
That's a good chip right there.
Yep,
Carrburritos
Sure is.
Carrburritos does a great job of that.
that's right. Now for the anticipated boom meter.
On the anticipated, I mean, it's got to get 5 big booms.
5 big
Five
booms.
big
You heard
booms,
it
am I
here,
right?
folks. 5 big booms for Carrburritos, chips, and salsa.
Yeah, it was a great chip.
Couldn't agree more. Hunter's been snacking on them. Last episode, they had a little counter going. We'll see if they do that again this time. But
What'd you get to on the counter? 3?
just try to break that record each time. More chips each time.
I've had 2 so far, so we'll see how that goes. But I've got this big one here. It's about 3 chips in and of itself. So
Right.
see if I can get that down me by the end of it. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think that kind of wraps up the interview today, Bob. Thank you for coming on the podcast, and we've really enjoyed having you on here. We have this Carrburritos gift card for you. We will have a T-shirt that we'll give to you off camera, but here is a gift card from our good
Awesome.
friends at Carrburritos. So I hope
Thank
you
you.
get over there and get yourself some more chips and
Yeah. Oh, I will for sure.
a couple of more big booms on the boom
Yeah.
scale.
Thank you guys
all
for
the
having me
Carrburritos
on.
food.
Thanks, Bobby. Enjoyed having you on, and good luck rest of the season.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it.
What an interview with Bobby Durkin. How about that? I really
Great having
enjoyed-
him on.
I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Bobby.
I give that interview 5 big booms.
5
if
big
you will.
booms.
If you will. So I just wanted to plug our triple header
Yep.
that is going to be happening this weekend. Women's basketball at 1 p.m. in Belcarina is playing.
Women's volleyball.
Women's volleyball, sorry, at 1 p.m. is playing University of Rhode Island.
Yep.
Then we play East Tennessee State University at 5 p.m. And then the women's basketball team is playing again at 8 against Wofford University.
That's right. Big day in Belcarina.
Big day in Belcarina.
Wear red, and we're going to see you all there.
We hope to see you all there. And also,
We got Atlantis coming up.
we have Atlantis coming up. Big games there as well.
Yep.
We just wanted to tease there will be a special Inside Out Show podcast in the Bahamas.
That's right.
So tune in for that one. We'll be sitting.
Bring your
on
best
the
bathing
beach.
suit.
We will be. Oh,
Some
I've got a
sunglasses.
couple of
Yeah.
nice
I
bathing
can't
suits.
wait.
You guys will see. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Great.
I hope you guys are too.
Thanks again for another great episode. Remember to visit Carrburritos and mention the Inside Out podcast or Davidson Basketball for a free 5 Big Booms, chips, and salsa with any purchase of an entree. Thanks again for listening. We really appreciate all the support, and we look forward to seeing you in the Bahamas next time.
We do. And also, quick note, this Inside Out Show podcast is now available wherever you get your podcast from. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. I don't really know any of the other platforms, but there are some more, and you can find us on all of them. So,
Yep,
Davidson Wildcat Podcast Network.
that's right.
Look it up. Bang. Boom.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.